Hello, people of Facebook, good humans, the Living Blueprints community. It is Linda Stacy, and I haven't been on for a few days. The cat is making himself known right now. I hope everyone is well as we are getting close to the Christmas holiday, and I believe Hanukkah is getting going really quickly too. So again, I hope folks are doing okay as we are in the midst of this really, really busy time, which I have to say I have separated myself from most of the external expectations around the holiday, and it makes me feel much freer, and I plan to focus on the people that I am with and not so much the things that we're all striving to exchange with each other, unless there's a super meaningful item that I think, that I'm really compelled to give to someone other than the nephews. And that really frees up my time to meet up here. But I was gone for a few days, so I haven't posted for a while. But a friend of mine posted something on regular Facebook, Liz. She's not in the Facebook community here, but I really loved it. So I wanted to chat about it for a couple of minutes because it ties into the book a little bit. And, I've read so many productivity books and so many books just around, achieving and living your best life and all these things. And one of the things I tell audiences and everyone really is that if you can't make this stuff fit the context of your life, it's kind of for naught. And a lot of these books are written by entrepreneurs who might not have a regular, quote unquote regular, a corporate type of schedule. They might not have to be in an office in a city, have to deal with the commute, may not have the option to exercise when they want to, and all of these things. So these are things to consider when you're trying to apply what someone who's an entrepreneur written a book. It doesn't really meet the context of your life. And again, I've read so many of these books because I have to tell you, I grew up a slacker. I do not have any of these skills inherently. So I come from the slacker side. I work with a lot of people that come from the perfectionist side. So I don't understand them a lot of the time. But anyway, this thing, which I will post because I think it'll be backwards when I hold it up to the camera, I will post underneath in the notes of this post. But it's organize your weekly schedule is the header. I think that's backwards, right? And then it's saying using these 4 different types of time blocks, which I think are kind of cool. One is called the focus block. There's also the social block, admin block, which I would put into my chore category. I have a chapter on chores, and then recovery blocks, where I don't cover this as much in my book because my book is really about execution, but there's a lot about taking breaks that is very important in terms of execution. But again, as being the slacker at heart, I tend to manage to get in my break times when I need to. But the focus blocks are cool. This is, applying when you know that you have your best energy. So you use this when you need to do creative work or work that requires just a lot of focus. For me, I know that that's the morning. For me, my mornings are often occupied by what my employer wants me to do. So on the weekends, I use that time very wisely. It's not a great time for me to do house chores because I can do those in the afternoon when my mind isn't in it, right? But during the work week, I can actually, I can do this to some extent because I've, over the years, gotten better at getting up earlier. So I do try to get in at least a half hour to 45 minutes of my own creative process time before I head into work or when I'm on the train. So as much as you can try to take some control of when you know that you're at your best, when it's easy to do your most creative work, when it's easy to be highly focused, that's when you try to block the time, the types of work that take that much focus. Another thing is, social blocks. This one is, when you're primed energetically to be in the space with other people. For me, I have to say that, that I'm seeing your note, Jan, that the streaming is stopping. So there's a chance that it is cutting out for everyone else too. I'll have to see at the end and repost it if that's the case. I'm sorry. Hopefully when I do repost it, it'll be solid and then it'll work well on a good connection. So the second block is the social block. Again, when you're primed to meet with other people. And some people have tons of energy for this and some people have way less energy. I find that I'm really good at this when I've had a really productive week and now the only thing I can do is just kind of melt and be around people. But not if it's super loud and I'm trying to have a conversation, then it's I just can't do it. But to the extent that you can actually control your social blocks or networking, I think is fantastic. But again, if you don't have control over when those things actually happen, how can you support yourself in other ways? Maybe don't go to as many if you don't have as much rest that you need or that type of thing. Again, I know people who are on the hyper, social side that could meet 24/7 with people and not have an issue. The admin blocks, again, these are 30 or 60 minute blocks to, you know, things that don't require a lot of heavy lifting. Again, I don't really have to think too much when I'm emptying the dishwasher, so I probably shouldn't do that first thing in the morning when it's my best, you know, work time. But you can do that stuff at another time when you don't need the same type of thinking capacity. And then again, the recovery blocks, these are ones that I feel like sometimes people in the modern, very high stress corporate environments aren't getting enough of. And, you know, I know that they're not getting enough exercise or sleep. That's clear, comes up in every single session that I do. But also meditation, intentional idling. I like this one, being deliberate about your idle time. You know, when am I actually going to like turn down, you know, and relax a little bit, but things that recharge, not things that drain you. I mean, I know that if I watch 3 hours of television on a weeknight, that is not good for me. I mean, I will watch shorter chunks. I'll watch things that I know I can control that are on Netflix or that we've recorded, because I do think that entertainment value is good. And I try to do something that's positive or that uplifts me. And sometimes that's one of the dancing shows or the singing shows, because I find them very, very, you know, rewarding in a different way that I don't necessarily get during the workday. But I really liked the way that this kind of looked at time and chunking it according to when you know that you have the best energy. And if you don't have a lot of control over that, it's unfortunate. But like I said, I try to get a little bit of time before I go into the office to work on my things. And the admin blocks, you can totally do this one at work. If there are, you know, you can make a list of the things that are just easier to execute, and you do it when you have super low energy. I mean, for me, sometime after lunch, and I don't even eat these humongous lunches anymore that totally drained me, but I still have a hard time focusing and doing my best work, you know, from like 2:30 until 4:30. So those are times when I could be kind of knocking out some things that don't take as much energy. They're just like administrative, you know, check the box types of things. And I dream for the day. I do have a dream day in my future where I literally can work my own work, the things I choose to spend my most creative energy on, from, you know, crack of dawn up until about noon or 1. Take a break, and I would totally do my exercise in the afternoon, because I know that that's when my body is ready for it. Certainly not at 5 in the morning. And then of course, scheduling in the times for other types of recovery as well as social time with, you know, with my husband, with friends, and just being really deliberate. But again, I love this chart. I'm going to post it underneath this post, and it ties in very nicely with chapter 3 of my book on biorhythms, and then chapter 6 around timing techniques too, which I don't think I've addressed yet. So I will do that maybe even tomorrow. And just reminders that all these videos, of course, they're in this Facebook group, but they're also on YouTube. So if you search for Linda Stacy in YouTube, you should come across my page, and they're all there historically, going back in time. I've numbered them, and like them, and thank you for showing up. And the more emojis and other things you show, the more that other people will see and share, and hopefully planting some good, awesome seeds for a few people here and there. So again, have a great rest of the week as we go into this crazy, crazy time. I guess we're already in the midst of it, and see you later.